been waiting for this interview longer than I care to admit. Johnny Stevens, frontman for Highly Suspect. If you listen to Loudwire Nights, you know one of my all-time favorite bands. Singer, songwriter, guitarist. He's joining us tonight, and I'm a little bit nervous. I'm going to admit it. I'm a little bit nervous. Johnny, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm nervous. You're making me blush already. I'm stoked to talk to you.
I doubt you're blushing, but I appreciate that. We'll go ahead and jump right into the upcoming album, MCID. For those of you who follow the band, you know it means My Crew is Dope. They've been hashtagging it, using that as their kind of slogan for years. The album is going to be out November 1st. How many times have you heard it at this point in full, and what thoughts dance in your head when you do hear it?
So I've heard this album probably more than all of my other albums combined. And I think the reason for that is because I like it more than anything I've ever done. I love the old albums, but I'm really, really stoked on this album. But then a couple weeks ago, I stopped listening to it so that I could not burn myself out on it and stay fresh. And now I've just recently started listening to it again because we're going to start playing it come November 1st.
Yeah. What's the number one thing you love about it? You say you love it more than the others. What's the one thing that
The freedom. The freedom. We did whatever we wanted on this album and didn't listen to anybody's advice. And I co-produced this one. I love the length of it. It's a full hour long. It's the biggest album we've ever made. I love the sonic textures. I love the lyrics. I don't know how I did it. I'm just proud of myself.
You're so talented. You have it in you. You have always had it in you from day one. I feel as if we heard a lot about the making of The Boy Who Died Wolf, via social, right? But you guys would give updates. You'd give updates from Bogota, and your friends come over distracted. But we didn't get a lot of behind-the-scenes info on MCID. Why is that?
You can tell from a lot of the songwriting that we're very open and honest about real subjects in our songs. And this one, maybe 10 times more so. And so during the writing process, I was actually in a pretty bad place. I had recently broken my foot and I couldn't walk, and I wrote most of it had a little knee scooter, and I wasn't loving anything about myself during that time. I was kind of drinking to excess and eating to excess, and I didn't feel like being in the public eye. I didn't feel like doing anything. I just wanted to keep this under wraps and really dive into the art and not be, it's difficult when you have to socialize with strangers and at the same time be trying to be an artist. And this time I just kind of cut myself off for the most part and really dove into my brain and kept it tight.
So where did all of the magic happen? And was there anything different about this creative process from the previous records?
Yes, actually there's a lot different about this album from any of our previous efforts. So the magic happened this time in two different places. It happened, about half of it happened in Los Angeles, or maybe 80% of it happened in Los Angeles, and then the rest of it happened when we made it sound pretty in Studio G in Brooklyn, New York, which was where we originally started making music. Well, not originally, but that's where we started making our studio albums. But, I think you can tell from 16 and Tokyo Ghoul, I did some of this stuff on my computer, and that was it was so fun for me. It was I remember being 6 years old and picking up a guitar and picking up piano and picking up drums and the physicality and playing these instruments. It was so fun, and I was learning, and my brain was unlocking and sending new pathways through neural networks. And this time I started incorporating sounds from different sources like Ableton and Pro Tools and synthesizers, and it just made it more fun for me to relearn. It felt like I was playing in a sandbox. I was making art again. And that's not to say that there's not rock on this album, but there are definitely new sonic textures on this album, and that was a whole new world for us. We all had a lot of fun doing it,
Do you see more producing in your future? Did you love it?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I actually just got a studio. I'm leasing a studio out from Mr. Joel Hamilton himself and his partners in New York, and it's too expensive, but hopefully I write a song out of it that covers the cost. But I want to start working with younger artists or older artists, whatever, and just start helping to write and produce for other people, because I enjoy that. I really enjoy being in the studio atmosphere, and unfortunately I'm not enough. Usually I take my off time and I go do stupid things, and I'm growing up. I want to make more art for other people and help the world of music.
You're definitely like a huge cheerleader when you find a band you love. Like I think of Sloth Rust and I think of you. I don't know too much about the band, but whenever I hear the name, I always think highly suspect because you're so supportive and you go so out of your way. So I could see how that
Because
way.
they're so good.
All right. We'll move on to 16. God, I'm even like cringe just asking a little bit about it. I don't know why, because you made the song. But so I'm obsessed with 16. We've been playing it on this show often. It's currently at number 3 on rock radio and climbing. Congratulations. No doubt it's going to be at number 1 once we get Tool out of there. What do you get out of sharing? What do you get out of sharing something that personal about your life, right? We as fans, we feel closer to you. Some of us may even relate, but why make yourself that vulnerable?
Yeah, man, I ask myself that sometimes because it can be tough. I mean, like for instance, Lydia, which is I think a lot of people's favorite song. It's hard to play that sometimes. It's hard to play a lot of the songs that I play live because I'm not in the same headspace and I don't feel the same way. But literally, it's this might sound basic, but it's very therapeutic to write about traumatic things for me and get it off my chest. And this time, I at least didn't use her real name, so there's that. But yeah, it was a really difficult situation that happened to me 10 years ago, and it took me 10 years to find the correct way to tastefully put it, the feeling together in a 3.5-minute song. It wasn't easy, and I finally felt ready and confident enough of myself and over it, to the point where I could share it and hopefully help other people that have gone through real life situations like that. I mean, I think a lot of people have had confusion on who the father is of their child. I think that's a pretty relatable thing. So hopefully this helps people that maybe have gone through that situation to know that they're not alone. And me, I'll just suck it up and deal with the fact that it's not ideal that I have to play that now every night, even though I'm over it.
You can always skip it, right? I know you had like your nights where you'd like skip Little One. You can always skip it. It's just so ballsy. And like the first time I heard the song, I was like, all right, I didn't think it was real. And then I read like the Billboard piece where, you shared with them that it was a true story. And I'm like, what? Like I wanted to talk to somebody about it. I couldn't believe you did that. So,
I've never written a song or I've never released a song for myself. I've written songs for other people, but I've never released a song that isn't a true story. And basically what I've been doing is writing the diary of my life, and one day I'll leave behind an audio diary for everybody, and it'll all make sense, and there's dots that can be connected. It's just a bunch of different puzzle pieces,
Amazing.
You'll be able to go through the albums and connect a lot of different time periods and time zones. It'll tell my story from front to back.
And then there'll be the big screen movie coming to a theater near you.
Yeah, I'll be the next Rocket Man.
Totally. All right, we'll move on to Tokyo Ghoul, which is the latest song that the band has released off MCID. Mm-hmm. It features Young Thug, who recently scored his first #1 album on the Billboard 200. So shout out Young Thug.
Flat,
yep.
Flat language, flat.
A line in the song goes, "You say you love me, but only if I stay the same," right? And we knew that this new sound was coming on the album, very obvious on this song, which comes across as a message to your rock base, whether that's accurate or not, I don't know. That's how it comes across. So what do you say to those who feel that perhaps you have turned your back on the rock genre?
I say wait till next week when we drop Canals. And wait till next week when we drop the best rock song you've ever heard in your entire life. Wait till you hear this album when we also have collaborations with Gojira. Wait till you come to the live show and watch me put that guitar on and melt your ears. Like, I've been rapping since before rock. I really wanted to do some hip-hop, and I will continue to do hip-hop. And if people are going to be like, oh, he did a hip... if you think about Van Gogh, he was a painter, and if he, sculpted, a statue one day because he just wanted to do something different artistically, would anybody give him crap for that? No way. No. So, no, I'm going to flex my lyricism, and I wanted to do a song with Thugger for 4 years now, and I finally had a beat for him that he enjoyed. And my band is, obviously the dopest kids in the world, and they're like, oh, my God, yes, let's do this. Sorry, I know you can edit that out.
All good.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic song. If anybody's stuck on the fact that there's a hip-hop song, maybe a couple on this album, and it ruins their whole facade of, what rock is supposed to, I feel like that's their problem, truthfully, because there's a lot of rock on this album, too. And I think it's better rock than anything we've released before. So all I can say to that person that says, I've turned my back on rock, no, I have contributed to rock. I have done everything I can for rock. I am rock. And you wait till October 24th, and you'll hear some real real rock.
Somebody told me that is so, like, everybody in the industry kind of knows that I'm a huge Highly Suspect fan, right? And I was having a conversation with somebody, I don't know, they're related to somehow, music wise, biz wise. And they said that when I hear that song, I'm literally going to pass out. The best song they've ever heard. I mean, they went on, and they didn't have to sell me. Like, I'm already sold, but that song must be spectacular. I can't wait to hear it because they were going off about it.
I watch the color in people's faces change when I play it for them. In real life, for real. No, I'll play. Like sometimes I'll be in the back of the bus or just whatever, and I'll show somebody, a little preview of it. I've showed some people just to kind of watch their reactions. The color in their face changes, and people usually don't know what to say for a few seconds afterwards. It's a really intense song called Canals, coming out on October 24th, and I have no doubt. I mean, there's a reason for everything. Like we strategically put out the hip hop song to see who would stick with us. Like, I don't want fake fans. I want people to understand artwork is artwork. And so for those who have stuck with us beyond the beautiful and amazing and incredible dope song I put out with Young Thug and the rest of my band, they'll be rewarded next week with a song called Canals.
Amazing. Can't wait. I want to just touch on Tokyo Ghoul one more time real quick. So
Sure.
I read it was like a Japanese comic, which was later turned into a series. I don't really follow that world, but are you into Japanese culture?
So much so. Just so much. I love everything about it. I love the way there's a dress style called Fruits. I love their pop. I love their animation and mangas. I'm just a nerd. Now I'm a nerd. I wasn't always a nerd. I had a rough youth, and now I get some time to be nerdy. And that anime in particular, just to give you a quick reference of why the song's even called Tokyo Ghoul, because the song has nothing to do with the anime other than the fact in that show there's a boy who struggles with his demons, and if he doesn't suppress them, he winds up eating people. And it's just such a relatable thing for me. Like, I've definitely got some things wrong with me in my head sometimes, and if I'm not on top of it, I get wild. And so that's why it's called Tokyo Ghoul. And then you pair that up with the lyrics, and you kind of feel trying to keep it together, trying to keep my demons in line.
Do it. We need you around for forever. Keep them in check. On a kind of related note, you're a big proponent of travel. What has been the single most life-changing experience you've had while abroad?
You know what? I won't go too far into detail with that because I like to keep some things for myself. But I will tell you that it happened in Somalia, which is on the southern eastern coast of Africa. If you know anything about Somalia, it's not doing so hot, but I spent some time there, and maybe that's a basic answer, but I don't want to go too far into depth with it, but I've some transformative experiences there, some really wild, raw, me versus the wild times, and that was a couple of years ago, because I needed to prove to myself that I could do that, and took a boat from Kenya, a 14-foot boat from Kenya across international waters in the middle of the night, illegally, to the Somalian coast. And yeah, the things that happened there, wow. And then everything seemed a little less heavy after that, Everything seemed a little bit easier to pass. Now, when small things go wrong in my day-to-day life, I think to myself, oh, the laundry machine's broken? That's okay,
Right. All right. Thank you for sharing that. I was initially wondering why you were listed as a feature on a Highly Suspect song. And now I know it's because you're going to be releasing some solo music. So what can you tell us about that?
Well, it wasn't the intention. The intention was to just have Highly Suspect featuring Young Thug. And Ryan and Rich were like, yo, we know you're trying to do solo eventually, because I am. And I definitely want to do all sorts of different things under different names, just art. I don't care if any of it's successful or not. I just truthfully enjoy making art. And they were like, why don't we, it was their idea. They're like, why don't we have it say featuring Terrible Johnny as well and start getting your name out there to give you a leg up, and we can use this band to help you out. And I was like, I almost came to tears. I was like, that's so kind of you guys. But that's what MCID is. That's we're such a family that they wanted to throw my name on there. And it's also kind of fun because it confuses people, and people think oh, are they breaking up, or oh, what?
Right.
It's so funny to watch the comments sometimes, and it's pretty simple. It's my hip hop alter ego, is Terrible Johnny, and at least in an artist point of view, and it's very much a Highly Suspect song. We all had our hand in it, but it's also very much Terrible Johnny rapping on the verses with Young Thug. So why not do that? It's just cool. It's just art. It's just different. It gets people talking. It gets people aware that I will do solo things, and I have no expectations of leaving this. No one's leaving the band. The band is, we grew up together. Two of them are twin brothers. We got this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm going to do other stuff too now that I have the outlets to do so. So.
That was super selfless of them. I feel like a lot of band members would be super threatened by their frontman wanting to do a solo thing. So shout out to them.
Yeah, because they realize the more saturated I can get my face out there in the market, the more the band gets out there, and it's all tied together. You know, we see the bigger picture. We see beyond that. There's no like ego or pride issues with any of us. We have fun. We make art. We do things. They were like, holy shit, you get to rap next to Young Thug, and we're going to put this on our album. This is amazing. Like, you know, that's exciting. Instead of being like weird or awkward or jealous or any of that stuff, they're like, yes, go, fly, boy. You know, like, so I'm blessed to be surrounded with such like-minded and selfless individuals.
When you did the DJ thing, were you going by that name as well?
Yeah, basically any type of side project I do for the moment that's just me is Terrible Johnny, but I think Leah Wellbaum and Slothfest and I just invented a band last night called Two Freaky Cherubs, and we've got a song that's like mostly done.
Okay.
I did a rap song years ago under the moniker J Suspect, and you know, there's a lot of different stuff. I just want to make art. I'm going to make art. I'm going to make it however I want it. No one's going to tell me that.
Do you paint?
Yeah, I haven't painted in a minute, but I do. I paint, and I'm more graffiti, but I do paint, and I do draw, and I do sketch, and I do sculpt, and I used to do performance art, and I hope to do some acting pretty soon, more so than just music videos. Just anything that has to do with escaping reality in a healthy way, I'm stoked about. So. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. You've taken on homophobia and racism in your music, just to name a couple of examples of, fighting the good fight, if you will. Can you recall something that your perspective has totally shifted on within the last 5 to 10 years?
No, not even close. I feel like I'm still 16 years old. Like I feel like I am solid as a rock, in my opinion, sometimes too much so. And I feel the same exact way I always have. I was raised by kind of a hippie outlaw motorcycle man who taught me love everyone until they bite you, and then it's time to start whooping ass, But I am definitely very strong about my views, and they have not changed at all.
Wow. Thank you so much. MCID out November 1st.
MCID.
There you have it. If you have a chance to see Highly Suspect live, I've seen him 3 times and so ready for the 4th. Do it. You will not regret it. I'm sure you can get those tour dates. Loudwire.com. Google is your friend. Thank you so much, Johnny Stevens. You made my day, man. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me. Be good.